Hello. Welcome in. Happy Monday, everybody. We are back after an eventful Sunday. Had a really nice sweat going into the Sunday night football game. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out there with Lad McConkey, but I also had the Eagles to cover. They did not. I'm going to get to that. We're going to go through the games from this past weekend before we get into tonight. So we'll definitely talk about that, but just a despicable effort from the Eagles, in my opinion. I also had the Chargers to cover 3.5, and their offensive line was just too much to overcome for them. I feel bad for Justin Herbert just getting absolutely obliterated last night, and then he has to deal with everybody coming for his head personally. When look, could he have played better? Probably, but there's just no way anyone with a working, functioning human brain could watch that game last night and put the blame on Justin Herbert. So, yeah, that was not great on my part. Those two picks there, but we did hit Brian Thomas Jr. anytime touchdown and first touchdown, which was around 15-1. So that was like a really big win. Covered the entire day. Really would have loved to get Lad across the finish line last night to finish out a big day, but overall, it was a pretty fine weekend, to be honest. To be honest, the line wasn't an issue. He had opportunities. I mean, I don't think you can say that when the Patriots had 30 pressures on him. It's just actually insane. I mean, I would assume that that has to be well above average. Like 30 pressures is pretty crazy. He definitely had some opportunities. Like I thought he had McConkey open on that third down on the first drive. When they ended up going for it on 4th and 2, but on the third down play, he kind of ended up just running for like a yard and a half. I thought he had McConkey with a step, like he could have thrown it to him in the left corner of the end zone. But yeah, I'm sure like he would agree he could have played better. But when you get absolutely killed for an entire season, like you have to, it's a compounding thing when you just get beat up over and over and over again all season long. And that's not, I'm not putting the blame fully on the Chargers. They tried to address the offensive line stuff in the offseason, and guys just got hurt. Like when you lose Joe Alt and other guys, like, there's nothing you can do about that. But, they haven't had Joe Alt for the vast majority of the season. Justin Herbert's gotten banged up. He's playing injured, and I'm sure it's just like a compounding thing at that point. But the Patriots obviously had a good game plan too. Finally cashed on the Bears. Yeah, that was a great game. I still can't believe the Packers choked that, but again, credit to the Bears. They dude, I want to like the Bears so much. I do. I want to like the Bears. I like Caleb Williams objectively. I like Odunze, Burden, DJ Moore. I've been a defender of. I liked Monangai coming out of Rutgers. I thought he was a really good pick, and then he ended up on the Bears. Like I like Colston Loveland. I've defended him, especially when he was struggling early on in the season. They have players I like, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because we bet against them so much throughout the season and they just kept burning us. And then the one time that I chose to bet on them, they, let me down. I want to like them, but God, I don't know. They just annoy me so much right now. I do have a play, however, early. I haven't even talked about this to anybody, given this out. I have a play. If the Bears go to the Super Bowl, you should get a jersey. Dude, if the Bears go to the Super Bowl, I might do that. That's a great point. I might get a Caleb Williams jersey if they go to the Super Bowl. That being said, I have a play that I love in that Bears game. Sunday at 1 o'clock, Rams, Bears. This is going to be a 3-unit max for me. Do not have very many max plays. We maybe have once a month. I don't know what the last one was. We just had one like a couple weeks ago that won, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was Oregon, I think, over Texas Tech, which was a winner. 3-unit max play, Rams Bears, Sunday, 1 o'clock, over 50.5. Hopefully there's decent weather in this game. I love the over here. I think the Rams will first of all, I think Stafford's going to play better than he just did against the Panthers, but I have no issues with the Rams scoring points. Like the Rams are going to put up points. The Bears lost some people on defense too. It's a really, really good matchup for the Rams offensively. But then on the flip side, I think the Bears can score too. The Rams defense, specifically on the back end, has really struggled down the stretch of the season. And the Panthers took advantage of that, especially in the second half. I think these receivers will give the Rams some fits this weekend. So I'm not saying that I think the Bears win the game. I don't know. I don't think I have a pick on the game. But I do like that over 50.5. And I would assume this gets up, barring crazy weather. I would assume this gets up to 51 or 51.5. So I want to grab that 50.5. I see it at FanDuel. Let me check real quick. I'll look on Unabated and see if it's 50.5 everywhere. Let's see here. Let's do total 50-50. Yeah, so it's 51.5 on DK right now. It's 51 on Fanatics, 51 even. 51 flat on Bet365. So yeah, I like that. I'm gonna grab that 50.5, 3-unit max play. I think there's gonna be some points scored in that one. So that's kind of my early lean for the next round of games. I think the fact that the Niners are +7 is kind of crazy, but I know the Seahawks just destroyed them literally a few weeks ago. So I kind of understand it. Denver being the number 1 seed, being a home dog in round 2 is interesting. I don't like betting against Josh Allen, which is, that's why I ultimately did not bet on the Jaguars on Sunday. I just don't like doing it in these spots, but I have to imagine I'm going to be interested in the Broncos side of that game. I'm due for a winner too, for a side bet. Dewan, what's up? I literally was wrong on every single game. I don't know if that's ever happened in the playoffs. I was wrong about the Packers. I was wrong about the Rams winning big. I was wrong. I didn't bet it, but I was wrong about the Jags. I thought the Jags would win. I was wrong about that. I was wrong about the Eagles, and I thought the Chargers would keep it close, and they didn't. So, look, I don't know. I might be the new Book It with Trent. I don't know what that means for the Steelers tonight because I took them plus 3.5. I guess we'll see. I knew Philly was going to do what they did. Yeah, that was disgusting. All right, let's go game by game quick, and then we'll look at tonight's game. So, thoughts on the Rams quickly. I thought the Panthers played really well. I thought Bryce Young played arguably the best game of his entire career on Saturday. The Panthers honestly very easily could have won that game. I thought the Panthers played great. The Rams definitely struggled outside of the first 2 or 3 drives of the game. I don't know if that can be attributed to Stafford's sprained finger or not. But like I said, I have some concerns about the secondary on the Rams side moving forward. And the offense was not as clean either. I just don't think Stafford played very good. Tough to really expect him to do that back-to-back games. I think he'll play better this weekend, but that's what stuck out to me there. Packers-Bears, just an epic choke from Green Bay. Would love to know what their win probability was at one point. The Bears have done this all season. They get down and they come back and win. But I thought that the Bears should have – I want to say it was a Green Bay choke, but at the same time, the Bears could have won that game more. They had chances for other turnovers, like when that lineman fumbled and the ball somehow bounced out of bounds and stuff. But at the same time, the Packers lost that game because of McManus, 2 missed field goals and a missed extra point. Jaden Reed had a big drop on their last drive. Yeah, the Bears cannot keep doing that. I completely agree. It's just not sustainable, but it's definitely fun to watch. I can't take anything away from them there. I do think it was a Green Bay choke, though. McManus, tough scene. Feel like the Packers always have missed kicks in the playoffs for some reason. I feel like if you guys remember, if you've been following me for a long time, We had a really big bet a few years ago. Stafford is 1-9 in the cold. Yeah, that is interesting for sure. Do you guys remember Aaron Rodgers? I think it was his last playoff game with the Packers. They played the San Francisco 49ers at home. And I think it was still the Jimmy Garoppolo. It was still the Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers. And we had a really, really big bet on the 49ers as underdogs to win that game. And they did win. But I think that involved a missed kick or like a blocked punt or something. I feel like the Packers always have special teams issues in the playoff games. I think anyone talking about the Packers getting rid of LaFleur is dumb. Like, there's just no way that they're getting rid of him. He's a good, objectively good coach. So I don't see any reason why they would move on from him. Bears, we'll see what happens this weekend. Bills defense played really well in the second half of that game, got a big turnover late. Would have liked to see the Jags run the ball a little bit more, I think. Trevor played pretty good. He kind of struggled early on, but once he settled in, I think Trevor Lawrence played really good. But 10 carries from ETN and 4 from Tootin, that's just not going to fly for me when they're, ETN's averaging 7 yards a carry. Tootin was averaging like 13 yards a carry. When they were getting outside the tackles and running, the Bills could not stop them. And the Bills have had issues stopping the run all season. So we're talking about neutral gain script here. It was never out of hand. I don't understand why the Jaguars did not run the ball more. That would be my critique from them. But they're a young team, first-time head coach, first playoff game. Stuff like that can be expected. It's a little bit of a learning curve, I would say, there. Even though Lawrence has played in the playoffs, a little bit of a learning curve. Eagles, absolutely disgusting display from the Eagles. I do not understand the offense. I haven't understood the offense all season. Jalen Hurts, you could hate on him all you want. And yes, he would agree. He has not played to his potential this season. But A.J. Brown, complaining all season and then he drops the ball in the biggest moment rubs me the wrong way. At the same time, though, I want to give AJB a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because I don't think it's an actionable approach to throw somebody the ball like 2 or 3 times at the start of the game and then never again. Like, he's not engaged in the game. He's never like anticipating the ball. So it's not shocking to me that he drops a ball in a big moment when he hasn't caught a ball since the second drive of the game. Like, the Eagles offense makes no sense. If they bring Kevin Patullo back next season to call the offensive plays, I don't understand. Like, it makes no sense why that guy was not let go 3 months ago. It's just terrible. And I don't care if he's friends with Sirianni. I don't care. Like, the offense, when you go from like, if you go and watch, if I went to like a 10-year-old kid that is just getting into football and this was his first time watching the Philadelphia Eagles play like this season, if I showed that kid film from the Eagles' first run to the Super Bowl 3 years ago, and even from last year, they look like remotely different teams, like completely and utterly different teams. It's insane what they have done to that offense. When you have Jalen Hurts, who, again, give him all the blame you want. It's a Super Bowl MVP winning quarterback. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert. I don't care that Lane Johnson's out of the game. When you have those guys as your offensive pieces and you're barely able to score points, it's disgusting. That's coaching malpractice 100%. And if they run it back with that guy, there's just no way. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. There's no possible way they bring that guy back. As far as Sirianni yelling at A.J. Brown, I don't think there was anything to that. I mean, Brady kind of agreed. Like, sometimes that stuff happens in games. So I don't think there was anything to that. But, yeah, I don't know. Just a disgusting performance from the Eagles. Credit to the Niners, though. I mean, again, the Niners have been banged up all season. They haven't let them get them down. I don't think most people thought they would even make the playoffs when those injuries started mounting. And they find themselves in the divisional round. They're big underdogs to the Seahawks, but, I mean, they have a chance. Another big injury to Kittle yesterday. But we'll see what happens. And then in the night game last night, I mean, again, we kind of talked about that earlier, but I feel bad for Justin Herbert just getting destroyed all season, and then he's the one that gets faced with all this blame. To your point earlier, Guru, about Greg Roman, I 100% agree. Greg Roman's offense was horrible down the stretch of the season, and especially yesterday. So bad. 100% agree with you. They need to change something there. I would be in favor of a new offensive play caller for the Chargers, 100%. And then on the Patriots side, I don't think they played particularly well. They didn't need to. I have concerns for them going against an actual team, but I don't know. Are they going to face an actual team this round? Like, I don't think Houston's very good on the offensive side. Their defense is absolutely insane, though. So that would definitely, if they play the Houston Texans, that's 100% the hardest defense that Drake May has seen all season, bar none. If they play Pittsburgh, I think they'll beat Pittsburgh. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but it sets up pretty well for the Patriots, especially if they get to play the Steelers. I mean, that would be, in my opinion, an easier opponent than what they just faced last night. All right, so let's switch over to tonight. Like I said at the start, I like the Steelers side of this game. This just feels like a classic Mike Tomlin spot to me. Primetime game, close game. They can muddy it up. And when Mike Tomlin muddies it up and gets in a close game, especially in primetime, it's the Mike Tomlin voodoo. I don't know. Somehow, some way, they always find a way to get it done. That's what it feels like to me. I said last week, I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back and play one more season with Mike Tomlin next year. So I don't think this is potential for Rodgers' last game, but I guess you never know. As far as touchdowns go, I think there's a couple different angles here. On the Steelers side, you obviously have DK Metcalf coming back from his suspension, and that's a big factor for this team too, and that's a big reason why I like them tonight. Their offense was just completely anemic without him. Their offense is not great with him, granted, but without him, it's really, really bad. So him coming back tonight is a big factor for Pittsburgh's offense as a whole. When we're looking at touchdown scorers, you have the backs up there. Both the backs are around 210, 220. The DK's 2 plus 230 on FanDuel that I see. I don't know if I like any of those guys. Metcalf, you would have to assume, is going to see a good bit of Stingley. And the running backs, I don't know. I mean, they've gone to Gainwell a lot in the red zone. I want to look up some red zone stats quick for the Steelers. Like, let's take a look. So if we look at red zone rushing, attempts inside the 20, let's see. Gainwell 21, Jalen Warren 40. Now that's just total for the season. I feel like Gainwell's been involved in the red zone recently, but I don't know. 13-8 for attempts inside the 10. Warren is that inside the 5? Yeah, 13-8. Warren to Gainwell inside the 5, 22-16 inside the 10. Let's look at receiving. So this is inside the 20 and inside the 10. Targets and catches. So targets inside the 20 for Pittsburgh. You have Freiermuth at 9. Yeah, DK at 13. Kenneth Gainwell leads the team in targets inside the 20, and he's second behind only Metcalf in targets inside the 10. So he definitely has been involved more in the red zone as a pass catcher, more so than a rusher. So you do have that factor. That being said, Freiermuth looks a little bit interesting to me, only because Darnell Washington was super involved for them down the stretch of the season. They've played one game post Darnell Washington. Freiermuth got up to a 70% snap rate He did see an end zone target in that game as well. Now, we also have to factor in that Metcalf wasn't playing then, and Metcalf could take red zone receiving targets away from Freiermuth. But I do think Freiermuth will play a bigger role than he has all season. So I don't think that 4-1 touchdown, I don't really think that's reflective of his true value tonight. I think he should probably be closer down to like 3-1. So I do like Freiermuth a little bit. And then you have the Connor Hayward thing. Like, I don't know. I would like better odds to talk me into the Connor Hayward thing, because I do know Connor Hayward's got a red zone target over the last few weeks. Now, again, Metcalf was not playing, so take that with a grain of salt. But he also has scored 2 rushing touchdowns on the tush push. So if the Steelers get down to like the 1 or the 2, are they more likely to give the ball to Jaylen Warren or Kenneth Gainwell, or bring over Connor Hayward and let him plunge the ball in again? I think they're probably more likely to do the Hayward thing because it's been working for them. Now, that being said, a couple weeks ago, Hayward was like 15-1 for an anytime touchdown. Now he's all the way down to 6. So the pricing on that is just not very good. So that's something to like think through. I think with Metcalf back, like that affects like Valdez-Scantling, I would assume. So I don't know. I think it's Freiermuth. It's one of the tight ends, Freiermuth or Hayward for the Steelers, if I'm going to take a touchdown pick tonight. On the Houston side, I mean, Nico's plus 150. Schultz is plus 250. I just don't know. Does anyone have a lean on a Houston touchdown score tonight? I have one name. That I'm like semi-interested in from the Houston side. And that is Mr. Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk, we don't have a guarantee he's going to get the majority of the slot reps, but I do think there's a good chance. Like, I feel like in a big game, in a playoff game, they're more likely to rely on a veteran player like him than one of these rookies. I could be completely wrong in that, but Christian Kirk has good splits against the coverage types that Pittsburgh runs. Pittsburgh runs a lot of single high safety, which is not really the norm in the NFL anymore. You know, the majority of teams play 2 high safety for the majority of the game. Pittsburgh does not necessarily do that all the time. You know, and that can benefit Christian Kirk because he has good splits. Nico Collins has really good splits against single high, and so does Christian Kirk. So that's why I'm a little bit interested. You're getting such a high number on him, 7-1 for an anytime touchdown. And then his receiving yards prop is 19.5. His longest reception is 11.5. So you're telling me that the gap between Christian Kirk's receiving prop and his longest reception prop is only like 6 to 8 yards? I kind of like the over. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of like the over 19.5 yards for Christian Kirk. And I kind of like dabbling on the touchdown. And you're getting a better number than either of the guys I mentioned on the Steelers. Like, let me shop this around real quick. It's 7-1 FanDuel. I'm wondering if there's a better number anywhere else. And I actually think that 19.5's come up a lot. I think it was like 15.5 when I looked earlier. We might be able to get a better number than 19.5 too. Let's see. For touchdown, Christian Kirk, no, 7-1 is still the best for an ATD. Receiving yards. Yeah, I see an 18.5 out there on Bet365. Then it's 20.5 or 19.5 everywhere else. So I might take that over 18.5 with Christian Kirk. We could probably alt it a little bit. Like maybe let's do either 40 or 50. What would 50 pay? Plus 650. I kind of like that. All right, so I'm gonna put in Kirk 50 plus, small sprinkle. We'll do the over 18 and a half, and then I'll do anytime in first touchdown. You like Noel? Yeah, Noel, I would say, is a very similar theory to Christian Kirk. It's just which one of them plays more is the question. Where's he at? 7-1. Let's put that in. And first touchdown, he is. Let's find the best odds for that. 25, 30-1. Bet 365. 30-1 for first touchdown for Mr. Christian Kirk. All right. So that's my thoughts overall. Let's see if we can make a team. Hopefully you guys tailed the DraftKings team that I made yesterday on stream. Did really, really good. I think I was like top 60 in whatever contest I played. So definitely it was better than a min cash. I think I might have 3x'd my entry, to be honest. All right. So I would say there's a couple different game scripts we could play here. One would be the Steelers like defense having a good game and winning. So I would go Jalen Warren captain with the Steelers defense probably in that instance. We could play the CJ Stroud has a better game than anyone expects. And, the Texans are playing from ahead. So you play CJ Stroud with Nico Collins at captain. Or you play it where the Texans are playing from ahead, but we think Gainwell is going to have that big pass catching role, especially in a trailing script. So you go Gainwell captain. You could talk me into that. You could talk me into a Metcalf captain if you want to get really weird. That'd probably be my least favorite of the bunch. Just kind of scared with, a little bit about Stingley. Pitt single high with Ramsey sticking. Yeah, exactly my point, Taz. And both Nico and Kirk have really good splits against single high. So I think I do think like Stroud could have a little bit of success tonight. If CJ doesn't show up tonight, what's your thoughts on him? I mean, look, I was pretty steadfast. I like Bryce Young over him in the draft, and that's coming from someone that's an Ohio State fan. So I watched a lot of CJ Stroud football. I thought Bryce Young was a better prospect. I thought CJ was good. Like I thought they were 1 and 2, but I thought Bryce was better. I got flamed for that quite a bit, Dewan. After that, the rookie season, CJ Stroud had one of the best rookie seasons ever for an NFL quarterback. Bryce Young was pretty bad. And then Bryce Young got benched last season. But ever since Bryce Young got benched last year, he has outplayed CJ Stroud since week 10 of last year. CJ's been pretty bad for almost 2 years at this point. And Bryce Young has been pretty good for like a year and a half. So I don't know. I still think like there's potential there for CJ Stroud. I don't think the Texans set him up for success very much. I wasn't a big fan of their offense last year. I'm not a big fan of this Nick Caley offense this year. So I think they could do a better job of putting him in positions to succeed. But yeah, he's going to have to answer a lot of questions if he does not play well tonight or if they lose tonight, for sure. Because the Texans defense is Super Bowl caliber. Like the only thing that would hold back the Texans from going to the Super Bowl is like their offense and CJ Stroud. Their defense is good enough to win right now. All right. So I'm probably not going to sim anything because I don't know. The sim conversation in DFS is at the forefront. I just don't know with like the playoff stuff how the sims will impact that. I did not sim the lineup we made yesterday, so I could go back and like post lock sim in and see how it did. But I mean, we did pretty well with that team. I felt pretty good about that team. So I'm not going to sim anything for tonight. Just gonna try and think it through from a game script angle. Do we like the Nico captain or do we like the Gainwell captain? I think that's probably my two favorite game scripts. If we do the Nico captain, I'd feel pretty good probably with like an onslaught of the Texans. And then just getting like one Steeler coming back and fading like Rodgers and all that stuff. So like assuming that like we could put Gainwell here and do something like this. So that gives you 77. Maybe take Kirk out, use Dalton Schultz. I guess we could use Nick Chubb, like just really onslaught this. Or you could use Steelers defense. I mean, that's kind of like a weird correlation piece, but I don't hate it. So, okay, I would probably go with like this. So this would be like an example build if we want to roll the Nico captain. If we want to do the Gainwell captain, I would say we have to play Rodgers in that instance. So that would require Rodgers here. I'd want Stroud. Maybe we could use Kirk in that run for some value. Then that gives you 71. Oh, that's like literally perfect. So maybe something like this. Gainwell, Rodgers, you have Steelers defense in there too, and then Stroud, double stack Kirk and Nico. I think I like the other one better, which was this. I guess you could use Freiermuth there too if you wanted. Freiermuth versus Fairbairn. We also could probably maybe we do Boswell. Just like assuming like saying maybe the Steelers are trailing, but they're kicking a lot of field goals. Let's see here. What could we... It doesn't do anything. I guess we could just do like this. So still pretty heavy Houston. 4-2 Houston. Yeah, kicker captain's interesting, DeJuan. I think you could do... I wouldn't do this on like a main team, but you could definitely talk me to like a Boswell captain and then go heavy Houston after that. I'd throw Kirk in that one maybe. And then I don't even know. You wouldn't even need him on there. Could do Gainwell. Go Fairbairn. Maybe upgrade. Probably maybe use Warren. I'd have to play around with that. I definitely think there would be some viability, or even if you wanted to do Fairbairn captain and go Steelers heavy on the opposite side, I do think there's some food for thought there. It was windy in the Eagles game. Is wind a factor tonight? I haven't checked it since last night. Let's see if there's any updates. Doesn't look windy there. Let's check NFL weather. No, so for reference, Guru, on NFLweather.com, they have the yesterday's Niners-Eagles games. They had 17-mile-per-hour winds there. I just have 8 tonight, well, which is the lowest of any of the games played this weekend. So wind looks pretty fine. So maybe that wouldn't scare me off the kicker as much. Maybe we try and go double kicker if we think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know. What's a build we could do with that? Let me see. Maybe we don't captain them, but we just play both kickers. I kind of liked the that one Nico team we built. Carson, thoughts on Jaden Higgins anytime touchdown? I'm a little bit worried with like Nico back. I just don't know. I was talking about it at the beginning of the stream. I feel like they'll probably want to lean more on veteran stuff in a big game like this, but I could be completely wrong on that. They could feel confident in Jaden Higgins and roll him out there a bunch. I'm going to take Christian Kirk anytime touchdown. That's going to be my touchdown pick in this game. So we could do maybe something like this. What if we did we keep Nico and captain, we put Stroud with him, we go double kicker, and then we still play Gainwell, and then that gives us Freiermuth or the Texans defense. Let me see if I can find a projection source between those two. Freiermuth I see for around 7.5 to 8. Texans, it's like a dead even projection. I don't know. I guess we could just kind of pick, like, do we like Texans defense or do we like Pat Freiermuth? Maybe we just play the defense. Something like this is interesting to me. All right. I think I'm going to roll this for our team. So I'll tweet it out later for you guys like I did yesterday. Good luck today if you're betting or playing Showdown or any of that. I'll post some picks later. The Christian Kirk. If you guys aren't in the stream, obviously you're not listening to this, but I guess I'm just talking to myself here. The Christian Kirk touchdown pick and all that stuff. I will be live, not tomorrow. I tweeted out the full stream schedule, so go to my Twitter. It's on there for this week. I will not be live tomorrow. I will be live Wednesday at 4 o'clock for a full Sony Open preview. We have golf back. I'm so excited that golf is back. We absolutely dominated golf betting last year. So we're doing a full Sony Open first tournament of the year preview, and I'll just talk about golf betting in general. So I know we have a lot of new viewers of the stream. We have a lot of new followers from football season. So if you guys are interested in golf, if you're interested in making money and betting golf along with us, I love betting on golf. I think betting on golf is the best sport. I think it's the most fun sport to bet on outside of football. So if you guys have never bet on golf before, I would highly recommend giving it a shot this year. We'll do a full preview on Wednesday for that tournament. I'll have my picks out for that, obviously, in advance of the tournament on Thursday. And then, the stream schedule is up on my Twitter. But I will not be live tomorrow. You'll catch me 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Good luck tonight, and I'll see everybody next time.